American sci-fi TV series called The Fringe. There's a character that is not really a hero or protagonist, but he's the unstraight guy, or what you might call him, the comical ingredient. And Walter Bishop is his name, and at the start, when this series begins, he is locked up in some mental institution, and however, CIA needs him and they get him out. And this is the most typically colorful person in this series, and you might analyze him first of all, what exactly is wrong with him, because he has been into psychiatric care for quite some time, and doesn't take very long to figure out that no, actually this guy is not in any way mentally sick. He is in no way what you might call an average guy, but not sick. So what's the deal? What's and about his different character traits, apart from being mentally healthy, because this is in a way unique. Start comparing him with some other stereotypical freaky professors, like Professor Calculus from The Adventures of Tintin, and who else? Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, Marvel Comics, or his arch enemy, Doctor Doom. So, what's the difference comparing with, to start with the Calculus? He is rather withdrawn. He is very much into his own mind, and you never really know what he's cooking until suddenly he has this machine ready and running, and this would not really be Walter Bishop's style, his cup of tea, because when he gets his flashes of insight and his ideas, the whole surrounding will be dragged into this and part of it, and they will be set into motion, set into work, and he explains things that no one has any chance to follow, and his fast pace, you might say, which you would not say about either Professor Calculus or Doctor Doom. There are quite a few others that you would not call exactly fast-paced. So comparing this Bishop guy with some other famous professor stereotypes, characters, might mention this guy with wild spiky hair from Back to the Future. Also this and maybe even Dr. Snuggles. And I try to figure out what would is there anything that I might put my finger on, some central trait, because this guy is like a big child. His intense and impulsive and really empathetic, but like completely unaware of things going around when he speeds up, and highly emotional, suddenly for some reason that might seem somewhat trivial to someone else. You may start weeping and becomes extremely touched by things. He doesn't like people being mean or evil. You would not likely see Dr. Doom do this, or Professor Calculus, even if Calculus is a rather nice guy, basically. Perhaps Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards. So, what is the difference? I would say that the big major difference is extraversion, because otherwise, when our usual image of the freaky professor type is that it is highly introverted, like very much into their own world, and like Professor Calculus, the idea comes as stroke of lightning, yet she has no real need to discuss this with anyone. Suddenly it's done, this fantastic time machine or whatever, and this bishop is not really genius, not really bright in that sense. It's just that he detaches either from the surrounding or from himself or common sense. You might also mention that Bishop and this Back to the Future guy, they are not really bothered by social conventions and such. Not that they rebel against things, they are just not bothered, which might be considered a typical introverted trait, because we associate this with individualism and integrity and all sorts of things. Still, there is something highly introverted to this guy at the same time, because you will not really get in touch with him, because no matter how intense it becomes and how much people are dragged into his projects, It's like, and he might actually care a lot for you, but he has no real genuine interest for socializing. And he has this thing with drugs too, and his in experimenting with different cocktails, mixing different things with each other to achieve certain effects, kind of self-medication. And I have used this Jungian terms before, and this theory about cognitive functioning, and in his case, one might imagine that this extroversion was probably as a child very outgoing, and then had this like a silent period, maybe between 15 and 25, I don't know, and then like came out of his shell. Not that he actually necessarily has been shy or phobic, but only not having any connection or any need, and he might come out as extremely extroverted, yet not, because there are these flashes, and then it's like it disappears again. So in terms of Carl Gustav Jung, you would say that he is driven by intuition. And there are two kinds, introvert and extrovert, and yeah, clearly the extroverted kind, because like I said, everyone becomes, whether they want to or not, dragged into his world when he needs to ping pong his ideas with someone. He has some lab assistant named Astrid, and he can't ever remember her name, becomes Asteroid, whatever. And then yeah, emotional, but typical expressive extroverted emotional life is not the kind who would disappear into some kind of inner emotional life. If this Jungian way of looking upon things would his emotions be extroverted, then his thinking, his logic be introverted, which fits with the structure, because his thinking process seems to be some kind of something that just keeps going in the background, sometimes in standby mode, and digests all these things that has been overwhelming him emotionally all day, and becomes then part of his brilliant flashes of inspiration. And perhaps this is there are also introverts having this extroverted intuition, but in that case they would be dominated by their thinking or feeling, and his intuition would be secondary, which it obviously is not in his case. And by these definitions, extroverted means no more nor less than your first function is aimed towards the external world, which is very much his case. And maybe that's what makes people uneasy, because it doesn't really fit, because like Professor Calculus, in a way even Dr. Doom is a bit cute. They will not rush, they will not come down on you, they will not suddenly become a living tornado of genius madness, which he does. And that might be what makes him hard to get a grip on, and he might come out as unpredictable, which I on my side would not say that he is, because there is quite a lot of predictability in most kinds of people, even if it's about predicting that you may expect anything, which is not the same as being unpredictable. Do you follow? No, you don't, do you? Whoever you are, asshole. Yeah, fuck it all, to hell with everything. Extroversion